Hey everybody, welcome back to the X-Ring, and I've got Israel 6 covered, and he got some new toys, and he has never done what we're getting ready to do. What are we getting ready to do, Rick?
We're going to drive at night.
Driving with nods. So why don't you tell everybody what your setup is, what you have, and we'll go over some equipment here.
I got a Team Wendy helmet that I purchased about 2 years ago.
Now, what made you get this stuff?
We shot a night match, and unfortunately I had to shoot white light. And all the cool guys got to shoot with nods on. And I was like, I can see how amazing that is to be able to engage targets in the middle of darkness. So I was like...
So a Team Wendy helmet. Now, you didn't go with the carbon.
No.
Price point on that?
Honestly, I don't remember. It was a while ago. I think it was $200.
Hold it to the camera so they can see it. So guys, the Team Wendy is a good helmet. You can spend a whole lot more, but you don't have to. What I'm going to tell you, if you haven't already watched...
It's a bump helmet. It's not a ballistic helmet.
Yeah, exactly. But what you don't want is what they call a skull crusher. And a skull crusher is just kind of like a webbing that goes around your head, and it gives you the ability to attach nods to your head. Because you don't want to hold something in front of your hand. You want something that drops down. So we've talked about night vision before, so having a bump helmet is going to help quite a bit. What's that big abomination on the back?
Counterbalance. Counterweight.
So guys, when you wear nods, especially a set of duals like this, we'll get into the specs of it here in just a bit, you want something to counterbalance all that weight. So you can see how Rick's holding it right now, and it's not tilting forwards, because after a while, your neck muscles will get tired. There are some options to turn those into auxiliary battery packs, and that can work out well. They're very expensive when you do that. But you also want to consider, depends on how long you're going to be working out of a helmet. Now, I've driven a lot with nods at night, and one of the biggest considerations, especially for Rick, because I don't know his vehicle, we're going to be driving in a Toyota 4Runner.
Yeah.
One of the biggest things is typically when we're operating at night, we would have a blackout switch, and basically it kills all ambient light. The problem that you can have with driving with nods at night is with the newer cars, you can't completely dim all of your interior lights. It still leaves your instrument cluster and all that illuminated. Now, typically you're going to be looking out here, but you'll be getting a lot of the ambient light coming up. I know in my pickup truck, you can't turn it all the way off. You can just kind of turn it down. You can turn your display off on the nav and all of that, but you can't turn your odometer lights off. If you have a dimmer wheel, usually there's a hard click setting. You can turn them off. So that's something to think about. But a true blackout switch, when you flip that makes your brake lights quit working, all of that. Because if you're trying to operate in the cover of darkness, you got to use brakes. You don't want to blow out a bunch of red lights if you're trying to sneak up on something. Now, what would really be cool is having something really quiet like a Tesla. Yeah. You could sneak up on anybody on that thing. That thing, just road noise. That's
or
all it
one
makes.
wheel.
So what did you get as far as, what are all these bands and bungees here?
So on here, there's actually, because of the Team Wendy has this clip here, it's a little bit fatter, and it does not fit in here. I think there's an option that I need to get. So I kind of rigged something up a little bit with some small rope. And
what does it do?
So if I'm running around, I get in the car and I have this up and I forget that I have it on, and I break it off, I shear it off, it just keeps me from losing it, basically.
So guys, if you get into night vision, depending on how much you have to spend, you are going to have to spend a little bit of money. It is an investment. It really is. Yeah. One of the biggest things you're going to find is most all of your your helmets are going to have a way to disable it to get it off of the front here, okay? So this Team Wendy here comes with the Wilcox mount. It doesn't matter if it's just a little scalloped area or whatnot, but this is the key right here. And I've talked about this before on one of my reviews, and this right here is going to be the Wilcox. And what you want, this is a dovetail mount. I believe this is the G24. This is the gold standard, okay? Gives you a lot of adjustability, forwards, aft, up and down. You can adjust a cant on it, so it really helps quite a bit. But that's what you want. Is you see that dovetail there? We have a dovetail. You can use a Rhino, but you're going to get a lot of movement out of it. So what you do is you buy this, and then you're also going to need the dovetail if you're, let's say you have some PBS 14s or something like that. Did yours come with it?
What?
Your
Doves? The dovetail?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so his came with it, but a lot of them might or might not. But I've got a set of duals right here as well, and these are white phosphor. And when this interfaces into this G24, it is a solid lockup. I mean, there's no lateral play or anything, so it works out really, really well. But on these Wilcoxes, they do have a breakaway function. This way, let's say you're working out of a vehicle, tree comes by and grabs your nods that are out here, you don't want it to snap your neck. So these would be sacrificial. There's a breakaway function that you can enable or disable right in there. I don't know if you guys can see that up close. I'll give you a close up here. So that works. So whenever you push that, that will activate it so that it'll break away. But if it breaks away, you don't want your $8,000 set of nods flying off down the road.
Then you get this.
So the tethers will help retain it. What did you get for your setup? What's your setup there as far as the nods?
These, I believe, are the PVS 40s.
Okay.
So this is a Gen 2 version, white phosphorus. It's basically a 2+ is what they call it. And still getting used to it. It's got the IR illuminator if you want on or off. You have the option. It's got the caps on it, so if you accidentally turn it on at night. 123 battery powers it up. I guess they do go fast. I just got these, so.
We actually have the same units, the same body anyway. The only difference is these are Gen 3 Plus. There's a price difference, but they can, you have the ability on some of the Gen 2 Pluses to boost it.
Yeah.
And by boosting it, it can make it equivalent to what some of the Gen 3 Pluses are. So enough talking. And I don't know how this video is going to turn out because it's going to be tough for you guys to see anything really. But we are on private property. We will be on a gravel road. And so we'll see how Rick does.
And the biggest thing, and the reason why I kind of wanted to do this was just to get familiarized with your gear. You know, a lot of people, including myself now, they'll go out and purchase something, but they won't train with it.
Correct.
You know, so just having the gear is not gonna, it's not gonna make it so you know what you're doing. But if you go out and do some training, do a little learning, and figure out what your limitations are, kind of get an idea. Because basically, I'm looking through a tube, meaning when I'm driving, I'm not seeing everything. So you need to be aware, and you know you're gonna have to turn your head a lot more just to make sure you're staying on the road and that kind of stuff. It's gonna be slow driving at first. Just get used to stuff and see what we can do, and then I'm gonna mess around, and that works out.
So driving with a single, like a PVS 14, while you can do it, it is a little difficult. You do get a better depth of field or depth perception with a set of duals on. So at least he's got that going for him. So let's go hit the road. Let's see how this turns out. All right, so we're in the vehicle right now, and you guys can see how bright everything is. Let's go ahead and see if he can turn down his instrument cluster all the way off. And on this vehicle, you cannot. I know that you can usually disable your displays here, but guys, this is a tremendous amount of light that's going to be coming out whenever you're driving down the road. So let me go ahead and figure out how to turn this display off, and we'll go from there. All right, so what we did was we took some towels and put them on the dash to kind of cover it up, and we do have some sticky notes, so we just put it over here. So that's going to knock out a lot of the ambient light. Like I said, you just don't realize how sensitive these things are. So we're going down the road right now. We're gonna head to our buddy's place and check it out. All right, so we got Ricky getting geared up.
Oh yeah, baby.
And the lights are off. And it is dark as crap.
This is easy.
All right, guys, so this is what it looks like going down the road. Now, you got to remember, he's got stereoscopic viewing. And I'm going to pull these nods down, and here we go. Now, it is that black. You can see nothing. Here's the dash with the sticky tape on it. Let's go ahead and let you guys see that again. And there it is. Look at that. Isn't that wonderful? This is the best I can do holding it in front of the cell phone. So we're looking over here at Rick. Of course, he's so close I can't get it focused. I'm not going to try to adjust it, but guys, it is absolutely pitch black. Using an illuminator, I actually have an illuminator that's available to me in my hands. This is how much these curves are. But I don't know if there's any way for me to do two at the same time. hold this in the camera so that you guys can see it with the flood beam, but I'm gonna try it, so give me just a moment. All right guys, so I have an IR beam. I'm getting ready to turn it on so you guys can see what a huge difference this makes. It's too much. The camera's picking up just way too much right now, but I can adjust the beam on this, on the IR. I can make it a wider beam. Let me go ahead and do that. Here's a wider beam. Is that too bright for you? That gives you an idea of what you can do. And guys, we're actually moving pretty good right now. We're doing about 20 something miles an hour.
We could go a lot faster.
But we don't want to go any faster because there are some sheer drop-offs over here off to our right. And there's the same road with the lights on. You can see that where the beam stops, it's just completely pitch black. All right, Rick, so how was that experience?
It was definitely worth the money. That was a good time. I can see so many positive things you could do with that stuff.
So you said worth the money. What all did that package cost you?
Well, it was $5,600, but a D-ball, which is basically an IR laser beam, a green laser, and then also an illuminator.
No, that's made by Steiner folks. So basically, I think those run, you can get them 700-ish. And what it does, it gives you the ability to have your nods on and aim or point your rifle without having to shoulder it once you get it zero.
This model is the I2.
So, Steiner D-ball I2.
Yep. And then that is the Sioux illuminator, the AMG. It's 850. It's the Sioux 850. And that...
So this is the one I was using in the car, folks. This was made by AGM, I believe. And this is IR only. So there is no white light function on it, but it does have a projector style beam. And so and you can make it broad or more narrow just by rotating the head. This would be great for hunting. I was actually impressed with this. I think they call these parabolic lenses. You guys should be able to see like a purple hue in here, but that's not going to be visible to us in here. Don't ever shine these into your face.
4 intensities on that.
4 different intensities as far as the brightness. And this ran, what, how much? About $200? Ish?
Let me see. 161 I paid for it.
Okay, so 161. So when we were at that Snipers Unknown Challenge, there was actually a vendor there, and he actually used to own a big night vision company, and he started his own company and said, for you guys, we're going to extend better pricing.
Yeah,
so
Title II manufacturing if you're looking for a place to buy that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm going to give them a shout out because they got you hooked up with everything you needed.
Yep.
You guys know I'm a huge fan of Surefire products. This is an older weapons light, and this was based off of a white light system. So you're going to see the white, and then you just had an IR filter that went over the front of this, and you'll be able to see that little purplish hue there. Now, once again, you can't see this with your naked eye. Actually, you can see a little hint of red. I mean, that's about it. And try not to look directly into one if you ever do that. And one of the advantages of having something like this is you do have a pressure switch. That's one of the things that we noticed on this is there was no pressure switch. Maybe there's not.
There may be an option, yeah, I don't
cap
know.
you can put on there. And then as far as my pistols, I'll typically run a Surefire like the X300V. And with your bezel right here, you have the option of doing, in this case, it's going to be IR. So we wouldn't be able to see that. But I can rotate this bezel, and now we have white light. So you have some options. Some other considerations to think about is when you start hanging stuff like this off of pistols,
Holsters.
you want the holster to be right, and then it can be very difficult. As far as a pocket light, this is an older Vampire unit. This is a V2. This works really well, works off the same principle. I've got white light if I want to use it. Actually, it's on IR right now. So that would be the IR setting. And then I can just rotate the bezel, and I have the ability to go to white light. So Surefire does make some great products with regards to IR and white light considerations. Anything else you wanted to add about this?
I was amazed at how easy it was to drive. I was on a very windy, narrow road.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the video footage that you showed, there were some straight parts, but there was a lot of switchbacks and narrow gravel roads, but we drove by a lot of campers, people
Yeah.
camping in tents and stuff out in the, and besides the wheels hitting the ground, and making noise, I mean, it was dang impressive.
And you did figure out a way to turn off your speedometer and your tach. You got that completely black.
Correct. One thing that we just had to put those little
Sticky notes over the display.
Yeah.
And guys, it's not that big of a deal, but what happens is when you start looking left and right, you'll see it off of your windows on the inside. And at one point, Rick was like, "Where's that light coming from?" It just reflects everywhere.
Yeah.
So if you can get that taken care of and just have it where it's blacked out, it just makes it a better experience.
The learning curve, though, for driving was instantaneous.
Not so much with PVS 14s. I would
No,
have been a little.
yeah.
I would have been uneasy on some of those switchbacks with those drop offs if you just had a single.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
'cause
because
your
you're
depth
almost
perception
losing
is not there.
half of something.
Yeah.
I did crank it up just to kind of see what it would be like, and I instantly went right back down. So they do cost more money, but like we always say, we buy once, cry once, and we also say, save up, get the good stuff, and kind of deal. So
That's it. So
I'm impressed.
So
with
did
it.
we say the actual total? You said it was like 5,400.
It was
That was with the D-ball, the mounts, the white phosphor unit. The helmet was separate, but that's only about a $300 purchase.
yeah, it's 56.54.
There you
And
go.
I saved about $1,000 basically being able to meet the right guy at the right time.
All right. Well, we hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope it was very informative for those of you that might be wanting to get into running nods or anything, and maybe we can get a hands on a set of quads or something.
That'd be nice.
All right.
See you
You
guys.
guys take care. Have a great week. Talk to you soon.